and welcome to Grey Wolf Adventuring. Today, I'm going to show you my bard cosplay. But before we do that, let's get somewhere a little bit more fantastical.
I always forget about that bit. Okay, right. First things first, boots. Now these boots are called dubarries. They're essentially for mucking out stables and other kind of muddy work. They're essentially like a posh Wellington. They fit the style perfectly. They are slightly anachronistic. They've got grips on the bottom, but in terms of a boot that looks like it could be in like the 17th to even like the Middle Ages, it looks pretty good. And also it's a lot better than just buying like a £10 boot cover off Amazon that's going to work for 3 times and then some elastic's going to snap or something like that. This, if you take care of them, can last forever, and it's very, very enjoyable to be able to polish and actually just take care of them, rather than something that is just fake leather that will just fall apart and fray and just disintegrate when you first use them. And also, it feels nicer than just having a fake leather cover over your hiking boots. They are very much the part. Secondly, I generally like to go with these chinos because they are hard wearing, they're just a decent trousers. There's a style, there is method to this madness. There is a reason why I've chosen this colour as opposed to others that I've kind of used in the past. Time to change. Hello, Mr. Darcy. What do you think of this? This is a pretty cheap shirt that I got off of AliExpress, I believe, and it does the job absolutely fine. I'm pretty sure it's a polyester mix rather than like a cotton or something. I would prefer cotton. I'm gonna have to save if I can get a decent shirt at some point or other. But this just, again, does the job fine. There are some things that is better off putting a bit of money and thought into, and other things that is just kind of, you know, cheapest will do best. And this is another one of those variants, really. It does the job. You know, I've got a nice frilly frontal bit. It looks the part, and as long as I'm not exerting myself overwhelmingly for whatever reason, it's going to be absolutely fine. The only problem with polyester is that essentially you are just wearing a plastic bag. It doesn't allow you to breathe, and so when I'm just doing kind of cosplay stuff or whatever, this is absolutely fine. But if I was going to wear this for a longer period, maybe like over a LARP or something like that, it might be better to just invest that extra 10 or 15 pounds and get something that is cotton so it'll breathe better. Jacket. Love this jacket. It was unbelievably cheap off of AliExpress. Again, the reason I've gone for AliExpress is just because of the affordability of it all. Don't need to be getting anything too extravagant. The reason why I've gone with this is because it's understated. It's not like extravagant bard, but it's at the same time, you know, I look pretty classy. It's camouflage where it needs to be. If I was skulking around a back alley or something, I'd easily be camouflaged in with the greys. It's a meeting in the middle of having this kind of ostentatious, kind of swaggering individual, but also at the same time contemplating the fact that, you know, I may be in a combat situation at some point or other, and so having some kind of vague camouflage, having earthy tones like this browny beige is key. Right, hat. This hat, for instance, is one of the more extravagant investments. Could have just bought something for cheap off AliExpress or eBay, something like that. But this is actually from a country outfitting store. So you'll have similar things like in the US where you buy your cowboy boots. In the UK we have walking shops and one things or another, but kind of going towards the more traditional countryside aesthetic rather than the hiker. And that's where I got this from. And I love it. I wear this even when I'm not cosplaying without the feather because that's a little bit too far. But I love, love, love this hat, and it is something again that I actually enjoy putting on and enjoy wearing. There's a line between something being a costume and something being cosplay or something looking actually kind of a decent quality enough that it's almost costume for like television or film. This is where the change is that being able to invest in little things like that rather than just the cheapest variant of that. You want little things that kind of look realistic and actually feel, this has a tangible feel to it, it's leather rather than just some plastic hat or something like that. And because of that, I enjoy wearing it, and also it just adds to the aesthetic of the character, overwhelmingly so, and it just feels nice to wear. Lovely. Now, time for weaponry. Now, my bard has an assortment of weaponry he's picked up along his career, the first of which is this dagger that I bought from Etsy. Definitely more expensive than just buying like a foam dagger that you could use for LARP. This is a metal dagger. It is borderline dangerous. I mean, it's blunt. This, along with a couple of other things, is what weaponry I have for the most of my cosplays. I do want to invest in some foam stuff for when I do a LARP sooner or later, but at the moment, these are a lot cooler. They're a lot more tangible, and I think, well, I mean, they just look better than foam if I'm going to be doing the cosplay stuff. So yeah, we have this, but we also have this. This is I don't even know what you really call it. It's not a saber. It's more like a machete, to be honest. I got this from Etsy. I think it was over 100 quid or so. And again, it's just the collection that I like to build. I'm enjoying buying these proper metal weapons. This one I did even have to blunten down because it was sharp. And I got a little nick off it at one point. So it has drawn blood. For the bard, you kind of want to be going for that Renaissance kind of era. So of the heroic age, we like to put Dungeons and Dragons or just general fantasy in from like the Middle Ages up into the Renaissance. This is getting towards the end, and this is a very kind of piratey aesthetic, as I have said. But do love this. And also, not to forget, I've got a uke. This ukulele is not in tune, and I do not play the ukulele or any stringed instrument. I'm barely proficient at the drums. Yeah, this is my spellcasting item, essentially. I got this very, very cheaply from AliExpress. It does its job, and its job is to just be an added part of the costume. I needed something to play, and this is the closest thing. Or this is the thing that I deemed most appropriate. These are my weapons as the bard, as a D&D bard. This is what I do. Now time for further accessories. Further accessories include this little scarf that I've tied around my belt, and I also got a ruff recently. This scarf was found, I think it was just from a charity shop or something, but it is cotton, a very aesthetic element to it. I think if you are buying everything cheaply and everything is made out of polyester, it brings the whole look of the uniform down. Whereas with this, because there is like a kinesthetic difference to it, you can see in the light that this is cotton, and it just adds that extra element of reality to it. The ruff, on the other hand, it's just another layer, another aspect to the costume that just adds the authenticity. So that is my bard outfit, inspired by the classic Dungeons and Dragons class. I'd love it if you could stick around and have a look at other bits of my content, and I'll see you in the next one.